And I is back. Right, hopefully auto butcher should be enabled now. I had forgotten to enable it. Simple as, so if I go to Z, animals, no, still not there. It's somewhere. Definitely somewhere. It's a plugin, I enabled it through the DF Hack console. It's just remembering. Pets livestock. I don't need to, it's not managing labours. It's not in manager. Don't need any managing stuff. Who gives a shit right now? Right. Let's continue on. Thought I had it. Thought I had it. Might have to like restart the game, if that makes sense, to get it working. Possibly. What is going on now? Right, where were we? So things being away, we've got a few mugs. We should really have more bins. So as you can see here, there's individual mugs in the stockpiles, which means if I want to move them to the trade depot to trade them, a dwarf will carry a mug. So what we want to do is have more bins on the go. Bins are these represented by these blocks with an X in it, and bins can store a bunch of items. So then it just takes one dwarf to carry one bin. Now if you have the bin full of mugs, you can see how that works. It makes life a lot easier. So beds are still being constructed. Bins, wood cages suspended, barrels, beds. Okay, not really a pile we can do with that. But as we let our fortress tick over, there's a chinchilla in our, and I forgot to assign animal to this chain. We want a dog. I want to assign an animal to this chain, which would also be this dog, which would have scared that chinchilla from coming in because there would have been two dogs at the door, but wasn't prepped. I forgot about it, and now we have a chinchilla in the base, and he'll eat shit because he's a dick. Simple as. How do I get Auto Butcher to start? That is what I am looking for on my phone. This is a high quality production. Watching shapes move across the screen once I look at my phone. Where is it? Auto Butcher. Right, okay. Hold on, actually. If I go to... There's definitely just something I'm missing here. Don't want to butcher the cats. That's just mean. You can set to watch, start watching. I'm just failing to figure out where that is. Squads, buildings, reports, civilizations, word info, designations, set orders. No, we'll just let it tick on. I'll figure that one out sometime. Be fine. So we've got some more beds placed. We won't do anything more until those final three are done, which are probably still being made, to be fair. We've got 2 dogs chained up now. And to be honest, in terms of mining, it's probably worth considering getting a dining room on the go. So let's do that. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That, just to get a point of reference, we get that. I like being a tiny bit ornate with the dining room. Again, this is just an initial one, just to get us started. I'll have to get 2. Everything has to be symmetrical or I'll freak out and start murdering things. That's how it goes. There. That'll be our dining room. Wait. Nearly forgot to leave pillars. So we will want a pillar there. 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 Central ones here. Do we want any around the staircase? No. Resume. And this might expose some more metal, and eventually at some point, because I haven't seen an abundance of metal bearing ores, rocks, whatever term you want to use, we're going to have to do some exploratory mining, dig a wee bit more deeply, because we're still in the high 130s in terms of our Z level. So that'll have to be taken care of. What's the workshop profile for the butcher? It's not what I'm looking for. Just add a new task. Butcher a dead animal. Okay. Please put the mugs in a fucking bin. We're never getting all those mugs upstairs, look. Are we running out of wood? No, it's just nobody's brought any wood down. Because everybody's got a job. A lot of people are storing items in stockpiles, so that's a good thing. Okay, all this is done. Build, door, and take those. Whoops. That. And now assign them as bedrooms. Done. So that'll be what, 10, 18. So we'll have space for 4 more doors before we have to concern ourselves with digging out another section of the bedrooms. What I need to do here though is, yes, hotkey. We're going to make that F8. Zoom here, name dining 1. That's not right. 1, there we go. So we have F1 for main level gate, F2 for our initial stockpile, F3 is our initial bedrooms, F4 will be our secondary workshop area, and F8 is our dining area. So that all works. So we'll wait till this is completely mined out before putting down any tables and chairs, and then we'll smooth the walls and floors of this room so it's a nice place to sit and eat and drink and be merry. To be honest, if we start having too many idlers, we may smooth the bedrooms as well. And smoothing, you you'll see the benefits of smoothing in a while once this is finished. It just makes the place look prettier. It's as simple as that gets. Oh, hold on. Yes, they're putting stuff in bins. Good lads. I like it. I like it. We haven't had any Fey Moods, possessions or anything yet, so that's a good thing. It's a good thing and a bad thing. I enjoy when it happens because there's a couple of side effects of a dwarf getting possessed. One, you get a artifact created, which could sometimes be absolutely fantastic in terms of creating wealth. The other side effect of the artifact being created is that it, whatever workshop the dwarf took over to create his item, he gains like mastery of that skill. So if he got possessed and he created an artifact mug, he would have fantastic, you know, masonry, woodworking or stoneworking skills, so he'd be creating master mugs all the time. And a master mug is better than a shitty mug, so it's all about the money at the end of the day. It's what game you're playing. It's all about the monies. Everything's done here. Nearly done mining out this. The other thing we need to grab is, we only started with Dwarf Fortress. You can go really detailed into your starting loadout. I just chose one of the sort of starter predetermined loadouts. So my dwarf skills were chosen, my starting supplies were chosen, various items like that. But you can go very specific and, you know, assign yourselves, you know, certain animals, tools, supplies that you head out into the world with. But the one I have, and everything seems a wee bit wrong. Why is that? Anyway, you start off with 2 picks. That's what I'm trying to say. And if you only have 2 picks, only 2 people can mine. I'm going to have a lot of mining to do, so I'm going to need more than 2 people on it. So we'll address that in the launch run. And now we have another save. We are entering autumn. Autumn will be the first arrival of a caravan to our humble abode here. And we'll see what we can trade in terms of goods and stuff, and see what we can buy. And I hate that it's saved, and now I've got the spinny circle again. But hopefully that speeds it up. I'll just hide the spinny circle down the bottom right hand corner so I don't see it. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. And there we go. Done. Right, continue mining. I just hadn't finished mining a certain block. It was caught in one of those transition flashes. It made it look as though it was designated to be mined, and I was freaking out that I had messed up my symmetry. It's okay. It's okay. Another thing that I do enjoy about this game, and it's why I haven't got it running at the minute, is one of the other add-ons is a thing called Sound Sense. Sound Sense is a whole pile of sort of like custom music and sound effects for the game. And probably after the stream I'll start it downloading, getting all the files ready to go, so the next time I jump on Dwarf Fortress we'll have Sound Sense in the background. But after not playing this game for a long time, I just wanted to hear that methodical, continuous, generic Dwarf Fortress music. It's quite soothing. That's what I tell myself anyway. Right, done. Right, let's build a table. That's a trap. Table. And enter planning mode. So is that symmetrical? I think so. So that's the tables marked, so let's get chairs on the go. We want to enter planning mode for this as well. Chairs for everybody. That's going to keep our masons busy, because we should have 5 to 10 of them already built. They'll be brought down and placed, but then there'll be none left, so all the workshops we mark going here, we don't have enough tables and chairs in our stockpiles, and they'll keep getting made, built, marked that there isn't enough. continue being made. So our masons are going to be busy for the next while. And I suppose let's actually resume. I thought we had resumed. What's our stockpiles like? We've got 80 plant, 170 drink, no meat. I don't like this no meat thing. Dwarves shouldn't be eating vegetables. It's just a rule of thumb. Elves eat vegetables. Elves suck. So our first table placed. Look at it. Look at it. Such a fine table. But now we can actually earmark this as a dining room. And I said before, when you press R to mark something as a room, it tries to automatically assume the dimensions of a room. It's got this one very wrong. But we can increase the size of it and it'll encompass walls and whatever it meets as a boundary for a room. And lo and behold, it fills our entire thing. We've designated this as a dining room, and we want to make it a meeting hall. So we had H, and it's now a meeting hall, which means that when new dwarves come in, whenever we had that last migration wave, the dwarves sort of stayed stuck at the top of the map, as they sort of just were arriving and getting the lay of the land or whatever. But now that we have a designated meeting area, they'll all just stream onto the map. They'll come here to this dining room for a bit, chat, get to know each other, la-di-da-di-da, and then get to work. Dwarves are strange creatures. And the thing I said I was going to do was designate something to be smoothed. So we shall do that. For now, it'll just be the outer wall. Whoops. This is the tedious bit. And you'll start to see why at some point you will want nearly everything in your fort that can be smoothed. Now things like sand and that shit can't. It's only stone based walls. After smoothing, they can be engraved. And the engravings and things like artifacts are actually where this game starts to get a lot of its flavour. Because, for example, this isn't just start a new map, start building a fort. I had to generate a world, and in generating the world I generated 250 years of history for this world. In that history the game went and generated all the people that ever lived, all the civilizations that ever existed, their histories, their interactions with each other, mythical beasts, who they murdered, interacted with, who fought them, battles, the rise and fall of towns, villages, etc, etc, and all that history exists in this world. So say one of my dwarves enters a strange mood, creates an artifact. On that artifact could be engravings dedicated to events that happened in the history of this world, or even just this fortress. And we've got an event. I'm assuming it's either caravan or migrants. A caravan from Ingas Nakut has arrived. Van Dabby Dozy. So let's go here. We want to move goods. We want to sort by finished goods bin. So finished goods bin will, as the name suggests, contain finished goods, and that's essentially what our mugs are. So we want everything that's moved, or everything that could potentially contain mugs or stuff that we can sell, move to the trading area. So we also want to search for maybe any loose mugs, and we have one, and we'll mark that to be taken as well. And we don't need a trader here just yet, because the guys have to arrive wherever they're arriving from and set up camp in our trading depot. Better if I hit resume, wouldn't it? So where are they coming in from? I'm assuming north, where that guy came from. There we go. So look at it, it's a caravan, it's an entire caravan. They'll just start depositing their goods there. And now we hit sit and meet with their liaison. So this is Kivash. He's the liaison from the mountain homes. Let's discuss the situation. Information has been added to the civilization's world info. Not really a lot going on there. Let's begin our discussion. Now here's where we can choose what kind of supplies we want. And this won't impact this particular trade, but if I have a heavy emphasis on I need fuck tons of leather, next year's caravan from the mountain homes will probably have quite a choice of leather. But at this stage I probably just want to grab some. And I always work from the bottom up. We don't need any mugs, sheets, clay, tools. Let's grab some nest boxes, some hives, some wheelbarrows. The rest can sort of go to hell. Thread, you always grab some thread, cloth, rope, bags, eggs, definitely, eggs can be eaten. Crutches, there's always crutches, so you don't need to specify them. Buckets, no. We need lye, charcoal, potash, pearlash, and coke. These are stuff that are used in sort of metalsmithing and various different things. We'll take some raw glass. Sand, we've got more than enough sand. Take a couple of backpacks. Backpacks are used by your military to carry supplies around with them in the battlefield. We'll take some quivers so they can put their bolts and stuff in them. Some flasks. Always grab some barrels because why not? Always grab a combination of bags and cages. Do we want any stone? I don't think so. Garden veg. Why not? Plants. Lots of plump helmets, please. Grab some fish for a bit of variety. Meat as well. And look at the meat selection we have. We prepared Hore marmot lung. Prepared wombat spleen. Only the finest for dwarves. Do we want any of this stuff? No. Powders? No. Some cheeses. Some drinks? Yes. We'll maximize all the drinks. Don't want pets. Don't want instruments or toys. Shields? Yes. And bucklers. Legwear, we'll get leggings, we'll get low boots, gauntlets, helms, leather armor. That'll probably do. Picks, definitely want some picks. Don't care about trap components. Bolts, may as well grab. Training weapons, nope. We'll grab all the weapons. Anvils, we'll want some iron anvils. Anvils are used to create like metalsmith forges and metal crafting workshops, which are heavily needed. I think we only start with one iron anvil, which is just not enough. So we'll grab some seeds as well. Some token stone blocks. Same for cut gems. Some token cut gems. Metal. You always grab the metal bars. Or at least ask for some to be sent. Wood, don't need. Crafts, don't need. And that's it. So done. Just hit execute to be done. So he comes back with a bit of whatever, gives you information of price. You can maximum this, but screw it, it's fine. We can finish the conversation, look over documents, grand. Farewell, Alfred, I look forward to meeting next year. Our fortunes rise and fall together. So that's the meeting with the liaison done. We are moving stuff up, and let's actually request the trader. Let's see, is everything... No, we need still 2 finished good bins to come. Let's see if any have been done since. Yes, we'll mark that to be brought up. And any loose mugs there, guys? Yes, there is. Oops. And yeah, those are the 2 finished good bins being brought up. We'll probably see a few dwarves coming up now carrying a few mugs. And once that's done, we'll go and start trading. As you can see, this guy. I'll try and point it next. See, these guys, they're flashing. They're both carrying a mug each. To the trading depot. Bob's your uncle. Right, our broker is not there yet. Alfred, hurry up. So how's this come on? See what I mean about things being mined or smooth? So unsmooth wall, pointy and not pretty. Smooth wall, all smooth and curvy. It's great. That's the wrong button. Is my trader here yet? Yes, he is. Here is the very, very user-friendly trading screen. On the left-hand side is what's on offer. On the right-hand side is my shit that I can offer him. So essentially, we mark everything that we want to trade. Yeah, and trade that entire bin because it is all mugs. bar the turkey leather quiver, but I can get rid of it. As you can see, the mugs vary in price. In that bin we have mugs that are worth 50 and some that are worth 10, and that's just basically the quality of them. And you can tell the quality by the symbols that go either side or in front or at the end of the mug name. As for what those symbols mean, don't ask me, I have no idea. I'm assuming with no icon it's pretty crap and is worth just a 10. When you have a star at either end, it's a certain quality, so it's worth 40. So you can sort of work it out. So we're just going to be, actually we should just mark everything, because there's going to be nothing in here that we're too concerned about. I see a few quivers, splints and crutches, but again, not really anything we're too concerned about. So we're trading at goods to a total value of 4170 dwarf bucks. And the thing with trading is you sort of be careful that you don't offend the trader. So with 4100, we're probably going to buy goods that are around touching the £3,000 mark. So we're not going to be able to get a lot. So that he takes away a profit of 1,000, he'll love me, and next year, you know, it's just how it's done. So what do we want from this particular trade? We're going to want meats. And I sort of know to go down to the bottom end because you'll get to the food quicker. There's a long list of things here. There's crutches, splints. If you can see where the white, the slightly brighter text on the left hand side is, it's moving up and down at the minute. That's where I'm looking right now. So we have yak cheese. We'll grab all 5 of them. Spikes, discs, quivers, backpacks, chain leggings, thread. We'll grab some leaves because they're cheap. Plump helmets, yes. Grab some fish. Pretty normal sounding fish here. Char, perch, rainbow trout, all the classics. And then we want some normal meat. So now we're into other items. As I said, we want anvils. There's an iron anvil. It costs 100 bucks, but we'll take it. No point getting a steel anvil. It doesn't really give us any advantage at this stage. It costs 300. It's just not needed. So if we can grab any cheap cut gems, we'll grab them. This one costs 20. It makes no sense not to. This one's 40. Just in case we have a dwarf that takes a strange mood, and one of the materials he requires to complete this artifact is a cut gem, and if we don't have any in the stockpile, he can't get it. He throws a tantrum, and it doesn't end good for anyone. So, any bolts here that are pretty cheap. Bronze bolts, 25 of them. Okay, we'll grab that. Business bronze bolts for 150. Bronze bolts, 125. We could grab an entire leather bin for $80. This one as well. Again, it's all about just picking up bits and pieces at the moment that won't break the bank, but will set you up and just to cover a few angles and move into the next year. Now, these are a bunch of bags, but some of them have shit in it. Like this is a white sand bag. It's a pigtail bag, but it contains white sand. So this is pigtail seeds. So we'll grab that. Nipple cup spawn. Probably don't really need it. Mainly plump helmet spawn bags is what I want. If we can grab them, I've got one there. Not really much else. Now we're into a pile of clothing items, including armor, which we're going to be overlooking this time round. Breastplates, socks, robes, training items. There's a copper pick. We'll grab that. It's only 176. Maces, more picks, axes. Another copper pick at 88. That makes sense to grab. Bronze pick, no, too expensive. Crossbows, maces, picks, training spears, buckets, barrels. I don't really need them. These ones here contain some alcohol, so we'll grab those. Dwarven beer, dwarven wine. And I think for the most part we've got what we want. I'll be grabbing a few extra things here, such as some cheap glass, some cheap blocks, some cut onyxes, cabochons, and then a few token bars of metal. And I think that might be it. Yeah, I'm good with that. We can sit here all day. Let's trade. The trick is such there, I can't fathom ending up with all those items. So he wants me to take more shit. That very rarely happens. And I very rarely find myself in that situation. We're going to take more veg, more plump helmets. Get them down to maybe closer to 1,000. More fish. Maybe, hold on then. If we take out that and that. With your trinkets and share, I can't fathom you ending up with all those items. Whoops, misread it. He wants bigger profit. Now it's at 1,300. Ugh. Right. Let's get rid of some of... Well, we don't need that leather bin. Say. And there's a few... We don't want that bag of stuff. I want that... I want that copper pick. Now we can do without the wine. We're going to be producing enough of our own alcohol. And I suppose... There we go. He finally accepted the trade. So we no longer need the trader at the depot. And all those goods will eventually be brought in by idle dwarfs. Done and done. Now, how is the dining room coming along? It's coming along quite well, actually. Unfortunately, this is where the animals like to hang out too. I always hate that. If I go to the animals, actually, let's manually butcher some. So, we only have the one male dog. Let's not kill any dogs. We don't need all these goddamn turkeys. Let's butcher 2 of the hens. We can butcher all but those puppies. Where's the hens? We can definitely butcher those hens. So there we go. All those animals are marked for butchering. They'll get butchered. There'll be some meats for us. And on top of that, there'll be some fresh bones for whatever items we have being carved out of bone, etc., etc. So it might be time to designate that to be dug out. We still haven't really hit along any major vein of metal yet. That's really starting to worry me. But once this is mined out, I see a bit of it is clay, so parts of it will be mined out pretty quickly. We'll start digging down. And then we're definitely going to find something, because we'll hit something in the walls of the staircase. And once we see something there, we'll just prospect out. Because usually once you find one metal vein, you find, you know, more than one. So everybody's busy doing shit. Planting seeds, sleeping, storing items, slaughtering hens. What's dead and missing? That's the 2 hens are dead. So at the moment we have like a diplomat, we have a bunch of merchant stuff, some cage animals that we could have bought, then we have the merchants themselves, axe dwarves, merchant dwarves, hammer dwarves, sword dwarves, mace dwarf. Lovely stuff. Speaking of military stuff, we will probably, after the next migration wave, set up our first military unit, which should be fun. I always enjoy getting into the military stuff, and it's probably, you know, not against all common sense to start tidying up right here, so we'll get some, you know, level walls. Just so that whenever it comes to building things, it just looks prettier. Because we are going to want to put some walls on the outside just for some basic protection. And this stuff outside will be very, very easy and quick to mine through because it's all just soft clay, and stray dog has been found dead. Okay, so reports. This is the reports section of Dwarf Fortress. It goes into ridiculous detail, and you'll see that once we ever have any sort of combat where dwarves are actually fighting. But for now, you know, for example, the hunting dog is fighting, which is just a report. But here is the detail of the report. So we're starting at, this is page 3 of 3, just for this fight. So the giant chinchilla misses the stray hunting dog. The stray hunting dog scratches the giant chinchilla in the left front leg, denting the skin and bruising the fat, etc., etc. The giant chinchilla scratches the stray hunting dog in the tail, tearing the muscle. The stray hunting dog collapses and falls to the ground from overexertion. The stray hunting dog stands up, etc., etc., etc. And why, oh why has that happened? I accidentally used the scroll wheel in that screen and I freaked out because I thought I crashed the game. Luckily I hadn't. Now 10 o'clock's normally when I'd end the stream on a Tuesday, but I'm enjoying this, and I kind of want to get to the next sort of migration wave before signing off, so I'll probably end up going to about 10:30 or something, or if I feel there's a natural break point before then. That stuff is getting nicely slaughtered, which is always great. This room's slowly getting done. All the walls and pillars have been smoothed. We have 1 idler, 4 idlers, 2, 1. Okay, everybody is being kept pretty busy, so it's probably not worthwhile assigning too many more jobs at this stage before we get any more new dwarves. But then, hello, what's our value's 13? Oh, pardon me. Value's 1300. It's hard to know. We got 7 in that first wave. That's pretty significant. And some migrants have arrived. Well, hey, right, so we have 14 at the minute. They're arriving from the same place again. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4. They're kids. 5, 6. Is that it? I think we only got 6. It was a wave of 6, which brings us up to 20 dwarves, which means we do not have enough beds. Which we're going to have to fix. So we'll have that earmarked to be mined out in due course. I don't mind if they don't finish this before they start mining that. It's perfectly fine. But it does mean a lot of our jobs are getting done now. We'll probably have a few idlers from time to time. And Yeah, a lot of people to name if I ever get around to naming them all. We are in autumn, probably about to hit winter, and stuff's already frozen over. Shouldn't be a massive problem, but it is a slight concern. Unlike the last stockpile room, the one above this floor, I'm not going to place workshops as workshop slots become available. I'm just going to wait until this floor is completely done, and then I'll do everything at once. Especially, see this floor design, I should really have that as a macro pre-recorded, so I can just pick my center point, hit control or whatever it is to play a macro, and it automatically designates everything that needs to be mined for me. But I enjoy the whole, you know, assigning the areas to be mined out manually. There's just something therapeutic about it. Again, I hark back to what I mentioned earlier, in that it was the early stages of Minecraft that I enjoyed the most when I used to play that. And sadly enough, the part I enjoyed most was, you know, digging down to whatever level it was you find diamonds or all the rare resources, and just endlessly mining for about 2 hours, just gathering stuff. And I find that the manual designating of rooms and various bits and pieces within Dwarf Fortress to be that equivalent. So I could just spend hours just manually designing rooms, and if I had to do a second floor of bedrooms, wouldn't copy this, I'd manually do every single room again. Doesn't make for the best viewing, don't get me wrong, but you know, I'm not watching it, I'm playing. Simple as it gets. So all 3 miners are up here at the moment. Still no real metal resources. Not good. We have a bunch of idlers, so let's smooth the fuck out of this room. The only thing left to smooth in that is the floor. So we'll get people doing that. Especially since we have some idlers. We could get them smooth in the bedrooms, but that'll get done eventually. I think it's more important to have a fancy dining room, to be fair. So we keep getting the warning at the bottom of the screen saying cannot construct traction bench because we need chains, and then it'll say, as it does now, resuming production of our traction bench because we don't have enough traction benches stored in our stockpiles, and it's just a vicious circle. But we'll rectify that once we get some metal forges up and stuff like that. Come on fellas, keep mining, it's what you do best, you dwarves. We will get caravans, trade caravans from the elves and from humans, which I was going to say always presents a conundrum, you know, is what to do, because you can seize everything from a caravan. It's pretty stupid to do it to fellow dwarves, because you are dwarves and it's best to have a good relationship with fellow dwarves. But when it comes to the elves, I just take everything. I don't trade or negotiate or anything like that. They turn up the land, they put their goods out for, you know, display, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take all of that. And they're like, oh no, don't. And I'm like, tough shit. Do that often enough, they'll send a warning, go and stop being dicks, and then they'll send another caravan thinking my behaviour to have changed, and I'll just go, yeah, I'm taking all that shit and giving 100 in turn. On top of that, elves do not like it if you cut down all the trees. If I went and cut down every single tree here, I would probably get a little messenger from the elves going, stop being a dick, stop cutting down all the trees, to which my response would be probably to kill the messenger and continue to cut down trees. At some point you will piss the elves off enough that they will send an invasion force. Anytime I've had an elven invasion force, they have been weak as, you know, as you expect. They're elves, they turn up with wooden swords and shit. So yeah, that'll probably be something we will definitely do. So we will end up at war with the elves. Shit, it didn't take long fucking smoothing that. Let's smooth the the bedrooms that we have done, including this back wall. Then we'll leave the corridor floors until the very end. But I like it when everything ends up being smooth. Just, I don't know, just everything starts to just come together, and it's nice. It's a very subtle thing to consider in terms of a mechanic, but it just, even in the pure ASCII version of Dwarf Fortress, it just makes such a overarching visual difference that it's just worth doing every time. It's just one of those little things you sort of just look forward to when setting up a fort, is, you know, getting everything smoothed out and looking quite fancy. Just taking a look around. There is, I've noticed a couple of beehives about. For those untrained eyes, this is a beehive. So we can harvest those, get honey, get a wee bit of a honey industry going. It might be something we look at a wee bit later on. We have our dwarves outside now, tidying up the outside. At some point I am going to designate a few walls to be built in places, sort of close off this entrance and make it a wee bit more secure. But for now, tidying it up is a good start. I still don't know what to do with this room. This was a mistake. It was supposed to be this, but I made an error. One that still hurts my soul. Oh, this is finished. Okay, so in terms of what this is, let's go, we build some furnaces. So, wood furnace. Wood furnace creates things like, I think it's charcoal you call it? I can't remember. But we need those to, and then we need a smelter. We always do 2 smelters. Then we have a glass furnace. Then we have a kiln. I very rarely use the glass furnace or kiln, but I have them created anyway. Right, let's go into the rest of the workshops that we haven't created. A loom. Right, let's create a loom. We need a clothier shop. You'll never guess what that one does. Jeweler's workshop. What's next? Tanner shop. As I said at the start, this one is basically a single instance of all the workshops that I have not yet created, just so that everything is represented. So that's a farmer's workshop I put down. We've got a kitchen here. I shouldn't really put that there, but oh well. Fishery. Ashery, which is actually quite an important one. Helps create soap and stuff. As you can see, it took a few extra materials there, including buckets and barrels. We need a dyer shop. Needs lye/milk-free buckets, so we need to make some buckets. So we'll get that in a second. Soap maker shop. Needs empty bucket. Screw press, not going to be interested in that just yet. Need a metalsmith's forge. So we get... See, it needs an iron anvil. I went and bought an iron anvil, which means I can create 2 metalsmith's forge. Yay! And I just realized I made a mistake. Whoops. So if I go to Q and X that away, which is the glass guy. So if we build another glass furnace, not another one, but just one in general, fire it over there for now. I actually want 3 smelters over here, because I do. Now the smelters break down your metal ores into metal bars, so this is where I sort of start going a wee bit crazy in terms of the placement of stockpiles. So that's a stone. We'll immediately edit it to only accept metal ores, and that's way too big. So we want to cut that in half. Then we will want a wood stockpile here. Then we want a bar stockpile, bars and blocks, which we will edit in a moment. To be honest, the bars can go there, and there'll also be bar overflow here. And actually this can be wood as well. So Q, S, this bars, blocks, we need to get rid of the blocks. We need bars of metal, bars of other material, not, actually, yeah, enable that. Okay, what's allow? So that's forbid the blocks, don't need blocks. But we don't want, no. Allow. Well, I don't want to, it's disable. I want to just get rid of the blocks. So that's the stone stockpile. Blocks into blocks. Get rid of those. So that's wood, wood. More bars. Right, now we need finished goods. That'll take up all of that. Finished goods fine, stay as is. And eventually we will set up some more. But for now those are the main ones. And I'm just hoping we have some form of... Actually, you know what? Here's a good instance to show why I created a manager to start. It's something you utilize more if you're not using like auto job assignment or workflow. But I just hit J for jobs, M for manager, and we currently have no active orders, so we just create a new order, which is Q obviously. And you're given this big list of potential jobs that you can do, but you can search. So I want buckets. Or bucket. So I don't really care about the quality of the bucket. I don't need it to be steel. There's all these different types of buckets from all the different type of materials, but I just want a wooden bucket, and let's make 10. So the manager will go to his little manager's chair and make that job like a top priority. Buckets will be assigned to the carpenter's workshops, and eventually I'll have 10 buckets made. It's just a quick way. If you find yourself short of something, just JMQ, new order, beds, blah blah blah. Construct bed, make 30. You know, something like that. It works really well. So once some of these workshops are set up, we can get the basic starts of our metal industry on the go. So I'm going to wait till the 2 wood furnaces are done. The second one's just about finished. Done and done. So these are the 2 wood furnaces up here. So this one here, add new task, make ash. Repeat, ash is used in a couple of processes. So we are going to keep 20 to 30 bars of ash about, I think. And we also want to make charcoal. Charcoal will be used by the smelters and stuff to actually smelt things down. So you're just going to get a repeat job. Bars, range of, say 75 to 100 to begin with. See if that keeps up demand. And we'll just have the charcoal being made dedicated in that one as well. Construction nearly done. And now we'll be able to see, do we have any ores about? None whatsoever. That is a bummer. Hey, this, sorry if I butchered your name, this, Corrupted? Yeah, I posted, that I was going to be streaming over on Reddit there, yeah, I usually jump on the Dwarf Fortress Reddit every now and then just to see if someone else has posted that they're going to be streaming or if they have a new Let's Play on YouTube. So I thought, you know what? I haven't played Dwarf Fortress in a long time. I'm going to be streaming it. Let's let the guys who know about the game and enjoy the game know that it's happening and see where we go from there. But yeah, thanks for joining. So far, so good in terms of the fort. It's pretty basic, simple setup. The dreaded single 1x4 rooms. I need to build some beds. This planning mode still, so we just mass produce these down. Yeah, but I haven't played Dwarf Fortress in so long. I mean, you're talking, last time I played it properly is probably a year and a half ago, if not longer. And there's been quite a few, you know, significant, decent updates since then. I haven't done anything with being able to send essentially troops or invasion forces away to other civilizations, colonies, towns, whatever. So the last time I played, the taverns had just been introduced. So I got to mess about with that and the whole visitor system. So anything that's come after that, I haven't had a chance to mess about with. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Oops. Where is... It's a very lonely looking dining room. Yeah, I definitely need to get some walls put up soon. I know I keep saying this, but I definitely do. And I need to take into consideration the fact that people can jump down from above. May mean some mass extraction of ramps. But what is this that's in the walls up here? Gypsum. Okay, don't care about that. Ooh, but we do have cassiterite. Cassiterite's not what I'm thinking of, is it? I thought it was something else. Yeah, it's time to dig a wee bit deeper, I think. We've got that set up, so we are ready to start expanding our metal industry. Hey Isla Mob, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Where am I? F8? No. There we go, right. Let's dig down a wee bit more. We are pretty high up as a mountainous region, so, you know, the furthest we've dug down is 131. I'm not doing too bad. Isla Mob, Fort's going okay so far. Everything's coming back to me. It's been a while since I played Dwarf Fortress, so basically just dusting off the cobwebs at this stage. But yeah, so far so good. It's now time to start digging a bit deeper, and I'm expecting us to probably hit a cavern at some point, which will, in the short term, freak me out because it's been a while since I dealt with it. I've stuck tetrahedrite. Knew it wouldn't take long. Announcements. Zoom to location. Yes. How far down though? Ooh, a good couple of levels down, so we aren't going to be impacting our bedrooms too much. So we shall get finally get some iron on the go. Is it iron? Iron and silver? Silver's definitely tetrahedrite the last time I checked. Cassiterite tin? Sorry, is that what you were trying to say? And we're saving because winter is upon us. And once again, heart in mouth, hoping that the game doesn't crash. I always turn the saves on for seasonal because I remember I played a fort one time where I just I was pissed off with the whole autosave every season. And I turned it off for a playthrough, sat down, playing for a few hours. Everything was going fantastic. It was a great fort. And inevitably the game crashes and not one save file existed as if I never played. Those few hours of my life just lost. And yeah, cassiterite is tin. All I remembered when logging on today was that tetrahedrite is a good one. Tetrahedrite, and obviously I would love if we managed to come across some actual pure silver or gold veins. Especially gold. Not that it's the most useful metal, obviously, but I just make shit tons of gold goblets, make every trade a situation where I can just buy the entire caravan. At the minute we have to make do with rock mugs, but it'll do us fine in the short term. But now that I have come across the tetrahedrite, what is its... When you're on this, is it Control... It is Control V. Nice. And I like that whenever you auto-assign veins to be dug out, most of the time it would automatically do it. It would prioritize it over mining anything else. Oh, we have more here. Control V. There we go. Nice. So we get silver and iron from it as far as I mine. So we'll let the dwarves continue doing what they're doing. Seeing what else we uncover. More tetrahedrite. Loving it. I remember one time whenever prospecting, I don't know what everybody else does, but I basically, hold on, just for an example, let this get finished. Right. I would cover this whole floor in essentially all the way across, and then in various segments all the way down horizontally and vertically, and hope that I find some sort of resource. I remember one time I had a fort where I must have accidentally made metal iron ore, metal ore, a very rare resource in the world gen, and I think in like 2-3 hours gameplay I'd found a measly like 1 or 2 veins of some insignificant ore which give you practically 0 metal in return. Okay, all the beds are done, so let's build some doors. That's a trade depot. There we go. So now we can actually mark those as bedrooms. Done and done. That'll be the remaining dwarves from our most recent migration wave taken care of, and on top of that provide room for about 14 more. So unless we get a crazy migration wave, then we won't really have much to worry about. I think I know what I'm going to do with this accidental room I created. I'm going to turn it into a training area, like a bit of a military barracks or something. In terms of long-term defences, I'm still going with turn this into a wall of fortifications, have a room off here, so that our crossbowmen can shoot through at any enemies that manage to breach the front gate. They'll probably put in a few cage traps and various other items as well to help that process along, but for the most part that's what we intend to do. So now we've got some charcoal and ash being created. Now we can assign... we can smelt galena. Just, okay. What is the... so we can get lead. You know what, let's just put a range of, what, 100 to 150 lead, i.e. smelt all the galena. And I like the fact that we can already get the silver earmarked, and I'm just going to put a really ridiculous arbitrary number of 300 to 500 bars of that, because then once I come to the tetrahedrite, if I had it, no, smelt, cancel that, repeat, work order. So it's already got 300 to 500 silver marked, so let's get bars of copper assigned as well, with a range of, say, 200 to 300. Is there anything else we can smelt? We can make billion bars, but we're not going to do that. So it might be worthwhile grabbing that cassiterite at... is it cassiterite? Maybe I'm butchering the word, but the ore that's at the top of the mountain here, we'll grab that at some point and actually do something with it. But for now, we can work with a tetrahedrite. With more there. Is that just gemstones or something? Morning cluster. Didn't hit anything else major, and still haven't done the rest of our mining. So resume and see where we get. So I have been streaming now for just over an hour and 20 minutes. Not an hour and 20 minutes, 2 hours 20 minutes. I normally end at 10 PM, but I've been enjoying myself here. So I've extended it a little bit, but probably not too much longer at the end of the day. Unfortunately, I have work in the morning. Sucks being an adult. Simple as it gets. So I'm not going to assign any metal objects to be forged just yet. We'll let our bars build up a little bit. And I'm not sure there's anything we want to assign for any of these shops just yet. What can we do in the farmer's workshop? Yeah, that's what I thought. Kitchen, don't need to. Fishery, ashery. We could make lye. Get some lye on the go. I don't care about glass. And we have a few other workshops that we're waiting on some buckets to be made for. All the buckets are made, so let's build workshop. one's near the bottom here, dyer. Yep, bucket, dyer, and a soap maker. And it's probably actually, what is it that the soap maker requires? He requires some sort of animal product, doesn't he? As far as I mind. Tallow. That's the one. So we don't have any tallow, so that's fun. Ooh, what we could do actually is make a couple of copper chains for those traction benches. So it'll be other objects, copper. Is it here? I could have swore the chains would have been here. Am I missing it? No. Is it trap components? Copper. That's... Nope. Fort's going okay. It's just that sort of stage where I think I'm getting comfortable getting back up to speed with things, but Dwarf Fortress being Dwarf Fortress, I'm expecting something nasty to happen at any time. I am currently digging down to level 100 just to see what's about us, to grab a few metal resources. I am expecting to hit a cavern at some point, but we are sort of a wee bit, if I zoom out here, whoops, wrong way. We are digging down on the sort of bottom right of the map, so I'm not really central, so I could miss a few cavern levels, or at least the initial one. Hey Robust Nut, Robust Nut actually, sorry. Yeah, you can nut in this chat all you want. Is adventure mode fun? Not the right person to ask, simply because I've never really given it a go. I've loaded adventure mode once and didn't know what I was doing, so I quit. I've always been about fortress mode. I spent hours and hours and hours watching various YouTubers play it, watching streamers stream it, before I even started playing it myself. That's how I learned, was by watching other people play, and never watched anyone do adventure mode, so never knew how to do it. So I've stuck with Fortress. And at the end of the day, Fortress mode sort of appeals to me more anyway, because all the games I like are, for the most part, city builders, colony management, things like Dwarf Fortress, RimWorld, etc. On my YouTube channel, there's, you know, Let's Plays of both this and RimWorld. There's Letha's Path of Progress. I played a good chunk of Nemoria. My favourite game when growing up was Pharaoh, so it's definitely been the city building side of things. So naturally, Fortress mode calls to me. But yeah, adventure mode has always appealed. It's quite interesting taking the depth of Dwarf Fortress and applying that to, you know, your generic sort of roguelike experience. But it's just, I've just never given it a chance, really. Maybe I should. Maybe I could, at some point, stream a session of Dwarf Fortress going, let's learn adventure mode. So, you know, there's no false pretenses going into it. Oh, thank God for that. Somebody has been possessed. Okay, so what are you going to take? It's a stone crafter. Create a craft workshop. So, okay. Are you going to sit still? No, you're grabbing supplies, which is good, which means I have the stuff he needs. He's grabbed 2 blocks of stone and a 3rd block. Is he going to grab anything else? Maybe a few gems. He's going to grab... He's got some leather. Okay, he's grabbed stone and leather. This probably isn't going to be anything crazy. You should watch Krugmash. He's my favourite Dwarf Fortress YouTuber. He makes storied of his playthroughs with pictures and draws. I've actually seen a few of his videos before on YouTube, Robusnut, and I've seen a few of his videos before. He does a very, very good job. He takes presenting, you know, Dwarf Fortress in video mode to another level with the artwork and just the whole story he creates around everything that he does. He's very good. Yeah, Possessed is the most annoying skill mood because it doesn't have any skills boost. But at the end of the day, if it ends up freakishly having an awesome artifact, then I will gladly have as many Possessed moods as possible. But yeah, it would be nice to have the skill boost, not gonna lie. I'm just sort of eagerly waiting. It's probably going to be like... Oh. Avu's Stonecrafter has created Mez Calor, a slate scepter. She claims it is a family heirloom. So, whoops. Press enter to close window. And let's go to your artifacts. Take a look at this. Valued at 6,000, not the best, but I've had some possessions returning artifacts that are worth like 140 dwarf books, so this isn't too bad. So, description. This is a slate scepter. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of rectangular slate cabochons. This object is adorned with hanging rings of slate and menaces with spikes of slate. On the item is an image of dimple cups in red panda leather. So there we go. And it's Mez Calor, that's its dwarven name, which translates to the creature of thrones. Get it like that. So yeah, there's our first artifact. Nothing special, but it is what it is. And again, that's our overall fort value. See, I'm not going to sell the artifact Robust Nut. This one will be sort of kept in the fort just to add to the value of the fort, so more people come. But I don't think I've actually ever sold an artifact in all the forts I've ever done. I've put some on display, but I've never sold any. But obviously, you know, the fancier and more expensive the artifact is, the better it is. So that's how things work in life. The more it costs, the better it must be. So finishing smoothing out of the rest of our bedrooms, although most of them are going to remain empty for now. Some of the tetrahedrite has been moved up, and I should really get a... expose anything else there? No, just a few gemstones and shit. More tetrahedrite. Lots more tetrahedrite. I mean, lots more. But I think that's about it, really. Yeah. Okay. I shall mark these two levels to be mined, because you never know what it might expose. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Control V and Control V. See, Disrupt, I definitely get the having a dedicated storeroom for them, but for now, I'm probably going to just leave them lying wherever they're lying, and at some point, whenever I upgrade this very crummy initial dining room into sort of like a grand dining hall, I'll probably have some places to have them displayed and shown off. I had said earlier that when I got the next... sorry about that. And thank you for the host, Disrupt. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I am close to signing off for tonight. It has been 2.5 hours. But on that note, actually, I will be picking this up next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. GMT. I stream a dedicated stream every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Every now and then there would be a random live stream thrown in, depending on when the mood takes me. for example, yesterday I was streaming Hearts of Iron 4. But yeah, every Tuesday, 8 PM, and for the foreseeable future, all those Tuesday live streams will be Dwarf Fortress, and hopefully this save for as long as possible. But yeah, definitely Grand Dining Hall, that's where I'll start displaying some artifacts. I know I'm sort of just jumping over the levels here, but I'm at one of these stages where I'm not sure. It's not that I'm not sure what to do next, it's just I'm in a waiting phase. I'm going to turn this weird empty room into a barracks or training for archers at some point, but I want over 20 dwarves before I start creating some squads. And it's probably actually worthwhile designating some more trees to be cut. One, keeps people busy, and two, we're actually running low on just wood that's lying about. Because if we take a look at our first stockpile, there's no wood there. And there's very little wood there, so yeah. We do have some cabinets. Oh, cabinets and coffers. Let's build those in our bedrooms. So let's build cabinet, F. I knew it was F. I love this part where you can just sort of just randomly keep clicking and shit happens. Planning mode is possibly one of the best things to come out of like DF hack. Is it a DF hack thing? I'm assuming it is. It's too awesome not to be. And we need now container. This is the issue I have here though. Right. If we go to planning mode, I want to get a material filter. Can I get stone? So that's stone. Done. I don't want any, I want stone. Can I... Okay, just to mark all stone. I don't want silk bags or weird wooden things being placed as the... I don't want any those ones, but it doesn't really matter. So we're just marking all the stone, and that way only stone. Shift, enter, save. There we go. Yes, containers. Because I hate whenever you've dedicated, you know, building 20, 30 stone coffers, and then you go to place them in the bedrooms, and all of a sudden there's a dirty silk bag in the middle of it all, and I just couldn't be bothered micromanaging it. So take advantage of the material filter to get exactly what I want. Oops, missed a few. Here man, if you've been thinking about starting streaming again, do it. I only started streaming properly for the first time back, I think this might only be my 7th or 8th stream, so I'll be doing it about 2 months. I kept talking about doing it for years and years and years. I've been doing YouTube for a long time, but I'd always talked about, you know what, I'm going to start streaming soon. And then 6 months will pass and I'll be like, I'm going to start streaming next month. And then another 10 months will go by, and then eventually I just pulled the finger out, started streaming, and to be honest, I love it. It's far better than sitting in the room and recording a video for YouTube, in my opinion. You get the interaction with people who pop in to have a look, and you sort of just sit there and you're just having fun. I find that sitting down and pre-recording videos for YouTube, it starts to feel like a chore. You're recording for others, you know, you're going in with that mindset, but when you're live streaming, you sort of just play a game for fun, and if people tune in to watch, then fair enough. But at the end of the day, I'd be playing Dwarf Fortress anyway. I decided, you know what, people can watch me play it. IKEA man group as a proper race, that's actually not a bad idea. It's something, pardon me, it's something I've been actually wanting to play for a good while as the Masterwork mod, where you can sort of play as the other races like goblins, humans, kobolds, etc. Just to take Dwarf Fortress mechanics but apply it to something completely insane and different. I streamed a while back, your stuff broke down and put me out of commission temporarily. Internet is questionable. Hey man, if you have your stuff again and you've got that itch, then definitely do it. There's nothing more annoying than when tech or even just plain internet issues stop you from doing something you enjoy. I personally work in software and stuff, so tech issues are just an everyday thing for me. I can definitely understand how it can piss you off. Hey Kryptonin, the rooms are too big, they only need to be 2x1 door and a bed. Yeah, but, you know, I'm not completely cruel. I give them a 4x1. No, I'm not wearing the Germany general hat today, Brian, because I don't think it wouldn't suit Dwarf Fortress. It's definitely going to be my Hearts of Iron hat though, because I put the hat on and I kicked ass, and it's definitely the hat that's got nothing to do with me. Yeah, Adventure Mode does have 2x2 bedrooms, so a lot of people do tend to go for that. If I'm not, just a quick example, if I'm not doing a 1x1, I would do something along the lines of the door would be there, then I would have like that. Actually, that's a room type I usually go for. There's also just a take on the 1x4. And just various combinations of that, so just mixes it up a little bit. And the other option is you take this design here, but then you chop off the corner. And if I clear this a second, just so you can sort of see where my mentality going. If you have that, and then you just mirror that design, so it sort of creates a sort of funky hallway. And once that's carved out and everything, it kind of looks pretty neat. A lot of the times it's not about the most efficient rooms or saving space or whatnot. It's aesthetics half the time. And Fatal Snails, where the heck is the dwarf hat? The dwarf hat is currently not on my head, so that's that answered. This you would do a 4-room halls of mirrored 2x2 rooms. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Again, as I was mentioning at the... Do you give dig priorities? Not really. Due to the way I would go about setting up a fortress and the way I sort of approach it, I'm never at a situation where there's a lot of different mining happening and I need stuff to happen in a certain order. Like, you know, at the start I had this corridor marked to be mined. This one was closed off. These doors weren't open, so only these rooms were dedicated to be dug out, and even these ones here are closed off at the minute. So it's like, technically it's dig priorities without using the actual dig priority system. It's sort of more of a manual system, if that makes sense. And yeah, this aesthetics is at the start of the fortress. For example, these initial workshops, this workshop, the initial bedrooms, the crappy little dining hall. It's all about just getting the bare essentials, but once you've got a good number of dwarves in and things are under control and you start sort of fleshing out and setting up some more dedicated areas, then definitely it's 100% about aesthetics. I've never actually utilized the priority system. Maybe it would have helped me in some past forts, but it's just never something I've done. And I forgot, because talking away, to look about where do I make chains. I forget where to make chains. You know what I could do though? JM Q forge copper chain. Let's get 10 of them. I'll take care of it. I definitely get what you mean, this, about not caring much for the up-down staircases and going for spiral, actually utilising the dedicated up and down staircases instead of the combo. But again, I think that a lot of people, and I'm a biggest culprit of this, is I sort of, once I settle on a style, or if I have a couple of forts in a row where, you know, I did things this way and it works, then I just end up doing it all the time. So I usually end up with a central staircase. My initial workshops always look like what you see right here. My initial bedrooms are always like this. My secondary workshop area, exactly like this, even down to the workshop placement. So you sort of get stuck in a pattern. But maybe, you know, just like I intend to do a dedicated ASCII live stream at some point, because I just think ASCII Dwarf Fortress is beautiful. Maybe I should do one where I do everything opposite to how I normally do it, and just go out of my comfort zone, try things, try different patterns, different layouts. Maybe, I know some people love having a fortress all on one level, but I know it can kill the FPS massively, and then other people, you know, sort of just, they like, you know, I think the best example of this that I can get right now would be, yes, they like utilising this kind of stuff. They'd find a cavern, or they'd dig out a few veins of things, and they'd just have like little rooms naturally forming, maybe slap a door on here, and this is a dwarf's bedroom. They like that kind of style, something that sort of comes out of the ground as it naturally would. So there's a lot of things to be done. And we're saving once again, which I think might be a good place to wrap up today's stream. Although I am very tempted to keep going, but I'm up at like 6 in the morning, so definitely wouldn't be a good idea. And yeah, Crypto, ASCII is something, I put up a poll earlier on Twitter saying I'm streaming some Dwarf Fortress tonight. Which tile set should I use? The 4 options I put up were ASCII, Iron Hand, Phoebus and Space Fox. The vote ended with Space Fox and Phoebus being tied, so I opted for Phoebus. But I personally went on to my non-YouTuber account, went on to the poll and voted for ASCII. It was the only ASCII vote. So unfortunately it wasn't to be ASCII tonight. Yeah, creating a real network isn't something I've ever really done. I've done it for a few things, but probably not in the way you would have properly used them. I've used them to sort of automate arrow collection in barracks. I've used them to sort of utilise the advantage of the little quantum stockpile stuff, but yeah, I've never really properly utilised. There's so many things in this game that, you know, you could play 40 different forts and you never get round to actually delving into everything the game has to offer. But then that's the beauty of Dwarf Fortress. And the Mayday tile set is quite nice. There's some fantastic and beautiful tile sets out there. One of the ones I actually think is underappreciated is the gem set. And if I'm correct, gem set is it's essentially a pretty ASCII that's, you know, in proportion. So a 10 by 10 room is actually a square, unlike an ASCII where it's a rectangle. It's a very nice one to use as well. But then there's so many more new tile sets out than the last time I played Dwarf Fortress, and I'm tempted to have a wee go at all of them at some point, because they all just add a different feel to it. I like, you know, every now and then using the Iron Hand one, because it does really have that sort of medieval castle type feel to some of the tiles. And there's a new dungeon set out, which I'm assuming it's in the name. Goes for a bit of a dungeon crawler type thing, and I can just picture it being a bit like the ASCII tile set for Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. Is that the right name? Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. I think that's right. So yeah, it's so customizable, and there's so much replayability that, yeah, you're never really done playing Dwarf Fortress. But again, before I end up rambling for another 40 minutes, I am going to go. So thank you all very much for tuning in. I'll be streaming this again at 8 PM GMT next Tuesday, so hope you can join me then. But for now, the stream is over, so please, 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 please go away until next time, folks. Good luck and goodbye.